Haha, I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting adventure here with the BlasterPro's Studios, starring your favorite scout and mine, BlasterPro.
Hello, everybody.
And of course, I'm co-hosting today because Matt dumped us right at the last minute.
Quite literally, 2 minutes ago, he ran out the door, said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
Yes.
Okay, no. Sorry.
No, Matt got called in for a small emergency at work, so he is off to be a responsible, contributing member of society. Unlike us, we don't. Well, he does. He contributes to society also.
No, I pretty much give it up.
My contributions are limited to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. Here it is. There's Matt's Mike.
Mike's Matt.
Mike's Matt. There, see, proof. Matt was here. He was all mic'd up, sound checked and everything, and split. We offered this mic to our director, Hayden. Here you go, sir. Yeah, if you wanted to mic up tonight. But anyway, we're going to run a poll tonight on whether or not we should mic Rodney, and we decided we would mic Rodney so everyone would see what it was like to have him mic'd sitting in the brown chair over behind me, the barber's chair.
With Matt, but
yeah.
Matt's not here.
So thank goodness he was mic'd and ready to go, and we didn't even have to do anything because it was in the final countdown when Matt's like, I got to go.
So we're going to replace Matt with the new stepmom.
No, we're not even going to talk about the new stepmom, and that is your first mark.
Stepmom?
We're not.
What do you think about new stepmom?
We're not talking about the stepmom.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Before we get into your
tirade.
Matter of fact, which title did Rodney have in the opening tonight?
Cryptid Hunter.
Oh, perfect. This ties in perfect. It's like you knew. If anybody knows, or if anybody's paid attention, there's a little joke that Hayden throws in on the intro is he always changes Rodney's tag, what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Banned from Facebook was one.
Werewolf Hunter.
Cryptid
Hunter.
Did he ever do tech support?
Yeah, tech support.
Okay.
You never did science project though.
No, because I didn't.
Or medical experiment.
Medical experiment. That in a session.
I thought we were going to make you patient zero.
That was another good one.
It was a weird reaction with the fish skin graft, and you turned into like a guild zombie.
People locked up the whole third grade.
So anyway, last week we had our monthly giveaway, and there has been much controversy. It was not rigged. Now, one thing he was joking on being here. Yeah, we're going to get to that here in a little bit. The size of the rifle. Anyway, there is something now. If Nick had came in and tried to play inside, he would have been automatically disqualified.
He was very close.
He was very close. He wanted to come in, but he decided to be very creepy and just stay in the driveway. Anyway. Let's go to your cryptic hunting because you're not going to shut up about it until. And who else was with you for this?
Before we get into that, we also want to talk about the claims that it was rigged by proximity.
Oh yes,
our local IT expert.
We had a local IT expert. Hojo, I was going to send you a message. Let me finish this thought, and I'll address the message I was going to send you. Anyway, yes, we had it checked, and. By Nick being in close proximity really didn't help him because the signal has to go out of here. It has to go through its thing. And actually, this signal probably goes to Chicago before anybody else sees it. So anyway, and then it's bouncing off cell towers and doing all that other fun stuff that he's doing. So it didn't really give him benefit. It just in his mind made it work better. Anyway, before we get to you, Hojo. I am actually this one right here and that one right there are yours.
I'm not allowed to touch them, or am I?
No, we're not allowed to throw. We're not allowed to
we
put them
can't
up.
touch them because every time we do, we get canceled.
Anyway, what's going on is I kept these back to do the photo shoots to get these all back up on the website. Hayden did that.
Hello.
Anyway, I've been getting a slew of questions, and a lot of them have been holster related. So we're going to do a holster a holster deal. And Dan, yeah, I actually will want your holster for that and your Mir Sun, because it also ties into Mir Suns, but it's not for tonight. But what I want to do is we're going to make a quick short video that'll go up, and then we'll review the video here, but it's also going to go out for all the people who don't watch this but could catch it out there. And it's going to be taking and showing a properly made holster with a properly sized Mauser blank or a Mauser base will fit all of the A&H to Return of the Jedi DL-44s with minor modifications. And it's not very difficult. You don't even really have to, I haven't modified this holster at all. It's how it came. Anyway, you're supposed to read the things for me.
Oh, well, why would I do that? I can't read them.
Anyway, it will also tie in for Mir Sun Power 5s. The same.
Thank you.
The same law applies. If it's a good base used, then it will produce how about an accurate base used? It will produce an accurate blaster holster. Just like these are all accurate. Some of these are accurate because they're real copies of real things. And the ones that actually just about all on this table are copies of real things or copies of very accurate replicas. Anyway.
Except for crap that I built.
That stuff that you built is a different story.
That's
and for a different thing.
Garbage.
Yes. Fantasy garbage. Get that out of here. D&D. Anyway, so Hojo, one more thing, and I'm in the process of building it. I'm building a DL-44 Hero, so that'll complete what we have on the table. I have a Return of the Jedi that Nick won last week, and I kept it also, and your Bespin, and then I'm going to add a New Hope, and I'm going to show how each different one fits in a well-made blaster holster. And that's going to be hopefully we're going to try to do that next week and get that all done and get that out of the way and solve and answer the holster question once and for all by video.
Straka says, what's up?
He always says, what's up? I bet you his A's and S's on his keyboard are going to go first.
Oh, like back when I used to game?
Yeah, the left-right arrows.
And spacebar.
And spacebar. It's like I got spacebar fatigue. It's just not...
It's not clicking, man.
It's not coming back up.
Game over, man.
So anyway, go ahead and do your stepmom thing.
Well, after I was out on my date with Matt, and he bought me lunch, and then I got sick with it later. Anyway, we discussed it, and I ended up going to the Cryptid Festival with the other siblings. Barry, Jeff.
Barry, Jeff. Actually, I kind of wish I'd gone.
Yes. So we went there, and we got to see this lady do the whole Bigfoot spiel, and she had this whole presentation. And we realized very quickly that she would be the perfect stepmom for us. So we want to get rid of Matt, and we'll replace her because she's perfect for Chuck. She showed up there, and she was giving her presentation, and she was a little inebriated. By a little inebriated, I mean like stuff I saw on college night when I worked at the bar. Oh, it was fantastic.
Jeff's like a little. So what was explained to me was she was doing a slide presentation, but she couldn't keep up with her own presentation with the slides.
Oh, it was great.
So there's a lot of catching up and a lot of going back because she missed points and this and that.
Anyway, she was I think it was 2019 Bigfoot Hunter of the Year because she got like 12 Bigfoot tracks in one sitting. And she decided to try to pull the dermal ridges off these Bigfoot tracks.
With Elmo's glue.
Yeah, with Elmer's glue. 13. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff was sitting right next to me. I may have fallen asleep, but we won't go into that.
She's probably done that presentation 1,000 times. And this was all at Great Wolf Lodge. Does this
Yes.
place smell like chlorine from front to back? all the
Actually,
way through?
no, it did not. It had a con smell,
It had a con smell.
which is impressive because it was, like as you said, 12 hours. How the hell can you get con smell in 12 hours? But it had con smell. And she, using the Elmer's glue, could not get that off there. And she's like, if you know somebody who could help me with this. Oh, we know somebody.
I'm the first person you thought of.
Oh, yeah, because she's the perfect stepmom for us. She'll take us on camping trips. It'd be great. And she's a medical professional. And around here, that's what we need.
With you, yeah.
Oh, we have mine and Clark's first aid.
Dude,
training.
we have a barge first aid kit that retired 5 years off the barge, and that is our main first aid kit.
And how many times have we opened it?
Several times.
How many times have we opened it and actually saved a life?
We haven't saved a life, but it does have a tourniquet and a scalpel and some other fun things. It doesn't have any Band-Aids left in it, though.
I think Jeff really likes it.
The only one that really, truly needed it majorly down here was me. And
Oh, when you had to glue your hand together?
no, when I sliced my hand off. But anyway, Etsy is extremely busy, super busy. It's been so busy that I started making Mirror Sun Power 5 molds. The Mirror Sun Power 5 shares a few pieces with other blasters like the A&H Hero. So this flash suppressor through A&H Hero and Mirror Sun has worn out in less than a month. So there's Matt and Nick. We were just congratulating you on your win last week, Nick.
Redacted.
Yeah, he doesn't want to let us know that he's here. Anybody dating or doing a lot of trying to get a girl's attention and she goes dark on you while you're texting a girl you're interested in, do what Matt did. Send a message and then retract the message. It has this really weird, they have to respond. They need to know what that message is. Now, most of the time, they'll see all your messages and just ignore them. But that one there, they'll respond, and you can start a new dialogue.
Actually,
and that's your last ditch to keep the conversation going.
My favorite trick is you get them when they got the little 3 dots going, and then right as they get the 3 dots going, you throw in your next line, and then they stop, and then 3 dots happen again.
So what you're doing is they're typing out a long response, and you keep adding to it,
Yes.
so they have to. You are.
I
do that too, but I can't believe a girl talks to you that much.
People are stupid.
Also, BlasterProShop.com is my website. It is semi-functional. It does work. We can take orders now that we know what email address those orders go to. We can take them. So it's up and working, but slowly but surely, almost the entire inventory is going to be up on Etsy, and it's getting very close to being to that, and we're going to be adding new inventory to it. Hint, hint, there's going to be more blasters and possibly more armor and helmets. But it's doing great. I've gone back and started contacting people who had made orders and then said, hey, and there were people screaming, where do I send my money? That kind of. So I've taken care of that. We know where to watch. We know it actually functions now. And what are we on to? Oh, this month's contest. Tonight, last week we ran long during the game, but part of last week was we were supposed to figure out through conversation with you guys what we were going to do this month, because January was all about scaling photographs, models, all that kind of stuff. February was all about mold making, and March we got a few things we're going to talk about and see what we're going to do, but the giveaway is the exact same thing. I have 3 blasters that are going to be available on this giveaway. We can vote tonight to see what blaster the giveaway blaster will be, or we can vote to leave it to dealer's choice at the end of the game. Whoever wins gets to pick between the 3.
Now, Barry had a good idea for the game.
What's that?
Well, he decided that it would be funny if we had a Bigfoot hunt, but we just send people out all across
Shut up, Rodney.
Ohio.
Shut up, Rodney. So what we're going to do is, funny enough, last month's contest was on the 28th. This month's contest is also on the 28th. So we're going to play. You ready for this, guys?
The last wheel worked.
What is it?
No, Jeff, no. What happened the last time we let Matt have a spinning wheel with a blaster on it?
No, that was the 10th. No.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
No,
You put the blasters on a wheel, spin it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay, this is what we got. Oh, maybe we can do a blaster wheel. Screw it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a blaster wheel. It's going to have 3 blasters on it. But you know what? I might even throw a miscast up there, just a miscast build. So anyway.
I would like to point out there's one small problem with this.
What? There is no problems.
Oh, yeah, there is.
There's no
The
problem.
blasters all have to be the same weight, or you're going to get the same one every single
It's
time.
going to be a virtual spinner, not an actual
Oh, God.
spinner.
Is it going to be the blue, yellow thing again?
Yes, you know
Oh,
why?
no.
Because we're going to be playing Trivial Pursuit again. And yes, the Trivial Pursuit, if you remember, we had the wheel, spin the wheel, that picked the category. We did off the, and we learned a lot from it. The first time was somewhat of a train wreck, but this time we have it down. And everyone who answers correctly for that topic will get the point. The only time you have to be the first one to answer is when we have a winning score or a winning point. That's how we played it. We developed it through the night that way, but we realized if everybody who answers correctly, boom, 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 and you only get one answer. So everybody that answers correctly in that span will get it correct. When it comes to winning the game, it has to be the first correct answer we get. I think that'll work. And what made it fun is people could come in halfway through the game and we're still answering the questions on topics. Because if you remember last time, we kept hitting the same 2 topics over and over. So you can come in and catch right up with everybody else. So that's what it's going to be. The choice of blasters are going to be DL44 Hero version, DL18 Skiff Guard blaster from Return of the Jedi, and the DT12 Greedo blaster. Now, the Greedo blaster may not be in Greedo blaster configuration. It might be in the Jawa configuration, which means it won't have this flash on it. It will have a Han Solo A&H Hero flash on it. Matter of fact, you never did find those blasters, did you? Didn't even look.
And I forgot.
All right.
Why are we quiet?
Because Jeff had a good idea. We liked it and went with it, and now he doesn't get to vote on a DL18.
My Jeff had a good idea.
Your Jeff had a good idea, yes. So anyway, tonight we were supposed to be starting a new topic tonight, and we did not go over the topics that I wanted to put up to see what we wanted to do. I was kind of drawing a blank on this month.
We do have a Larry speeder bike story.
A Larry speeder bike story.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So apparently he had to do interviews with new artists coming into his company. He didn't want to, but they stuck him with doing it. The guy comes in with his portfolio, whips it open, showing him nice little things. And guess what one of the pictures was?
Was it our speeder bike?
It was indeed the speeder bike.
Uh-oh.
He miscast in a way.
Yeah.
He laid claim to the speeder.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Larry was there all the time working on the speeder bike.
Oh, snap. That must
Fraud.
have sucked for that guy.
So Larry, being Larry, starts asking him questions about the speeder bike. Oh, well, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? What'd you do on the speeder bike? Well, who are the people involved? And then finally, at the end of the interview, Larry goes, I just want you to know, artists know when other artists lie.
Is that all he said?
Well, the guy's like, dude, I'm sorry, because, Larry says, I helped build that speeder bike, yada, yada, yada.
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
I'm sorry. I really need this job. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to tell anybody, but don't lie to me again.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think any of the other stuff was like snatched work too, or?
Well, if you do it once.
That's what I'm saying. That kind of totally blows his credibility out of the water.
But keep in mind, they did hire the kid who mixed the
The
dragon
plaster.
skin.
No, was it? No.
There are multiple stories.
Like the guy that incinerated his hands in the plaster.
Yeah, and then the other guy who decided that it would be cheaper if he just used half of the dragon skin to cast it. One
He
entire
just used
container.
one part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, he
He
didn't
didn't
use
mix
it.
it.
He
No.
didn't use the catalyzer.
No.
Wow. And
Just wasted a bunch of material.
it was actually difficult for Larry to get on there at times. Yeah, Larry did ask me to come down. It's like, you would come down. You should have fun. You would have fun here.
Oh, he's
I don't
asking
think he
too.
would you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Actually, to be honest, to be around creative people like that, I think I would actually have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would be taking a huge pay cut, but it might be worth it.
Hey, you know what? You and I have the most fun when we're being creative. You know what I'm saying? When we're hashing stuff out and down here doing stuff.
Yeah, but I don't wear you
Dude,
out.
I think the most fun we've had in a long time was building that spaceship for your uncle.
Oh, Jesus, that was I still have to do stuff with that.
I know you do. I think you're missing out on an amazing thing. This guy did some amazing stuff. He took spaceship from internet, made it
internet
from the interwebs, and turned it into 3D files. And we 3D printed. We did filament printing and resin printing. A spaceship from what's the game? Space Builders?
Space Engineers.
Space Engineers. So he figured out how to pull files, complete spaceships, out of Space Engineers. Then he chopped it up in a way that it would print good, meaning hollow and not full of all the interior spaces that it would 3D print. And we filament printed the body, glued it together, sanded it, primed it, and then we started scaling and putting all the thousands of engines and guns, hundreds of tiny 3D printed parts we put on this thing. It turned out amazing, and my brother posted it up on the Space Engineers Reddit board, and from what I understand, the amount of hits it got in the first 24 hours was a pretty good. Was it over 200 hits?
It had to have gone into the thousands.
It's probably in the thousands now, but anyway, it went pretty good. And my brother, his uncle, was like, "Hey, dude, you could capitalize on this right now." So, and I said it too, and he's playing with the idea now.
It would be a project.
It would be a project,
It
but
would
it would
be-
be fun.
A link to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? He's sitting there. He'll find a link to it. You want to find a link to it?
I don't even know where I'd look.
Nick, were you down here when I was doing that? It was around Christmas time.
You can go back. I think we have it on this show.
Did
No,
we put
I think we were deliberately hiding it.
Were we deliberately hiding
Yeah.
it? We were deliberately hiding it for a while. I don't even have my cell phone. I got one picture of Hayden painting it. That's the only picture of
Didn't
it
you
I
put it on
have.
Facebook or something? I forget.
No, nothing. It was all hidden
Why are people
until
sending
after
messages?
Christmas. But anyway, so let's get down to what we're going to discuss this month, what everybody wants to talk about and do. I remember a secret project.
It was very secret.
It was very secret because we didn't know. I mean, nowadays it's kind of hard, even though maybe we don't think that someone has contact with someone we know, but turns out this guy here and we found out just not long ago. Well, it's been a couple years now, but we used to run around with the same people
circles, yeah.
25 years ago. But we never met each other, but we probably did. We just don't remember because we had mutual friends.
We were probably drunk and no one died. So
Yeah, we were probably, odds are a lot of it may have happened at Annie's.
that's true.
Annie's was fun back in the 90s. Anyway, I hear it's a gun and knife club now.
It probably is.
Anyway, so possible blaster wins this month will be DL44 A&H Hero, DL18 Skiffguard Blaster, and the DT12, which is a Greedo blaster, but it may be in the Jawa configuration. Although I'll have the pieces to switch it back if need be. Although I may not, because I accidentally glued that a little bit more glued than normal. Topic for this month. So the topic for this month, I got a few things written down. Number one is 3D printed armor, clean, smooth. So it's going from raw 3D print all the way to a painted, ready to troop part, or to being a casted part, which is actually where the part I'm thinking about making will be going. The next one is the reason why this is out, getting back on the Wrecker project. This is where we were building a set of Wrecker armor to fit Matt. Here is the helmet. The helmet is actually ready, about maybe a couple hours worth of work away from being ready to cast. So that's the Wrecker project. The next one, MG15. The MG15 is, I can't remember what it's called. It's the RC 97 or 90, whatever. Basically, this is an MG15. It's an aircraft machine gun from World War II, retrofitted for ground use when they were desperate. Anyway, this is a project I'm actually going to be currently working on very soon, and it might be something that we might want to cover on the show. If so, we'll vote on that.
That's a lot of resin.
This is going to be all PVC. The barrel is going to be PVC with an internal barrel. That's a lot of cutting. That's a lot of drilling and cutting. Yeah. So anyway, MG15 is another project I want to do. I have it all worked out. It's going to be a hybrid pipe build. It's going to be all the parts you see here aren't going to be used in it, to be honest. This is made as a mock-up for me to help me follow and work off of. But I have totally different ideas on everything from the trigger all the way down. It's going to have the little pins with the chain on it for the sight releases. It's going to have all much of the original components. Maybe the only thing that might get closely used, but it'll be heavily modified, is the drum magazine.
Do you think new stepmom will like it?
Whoa.
New stepmom won't like it because it doesn't have anything to do with Bigfoot. What did PFC Quick? What did Nick say?
I have green stuff for a U-boat. I need to do, but I really don't know green stuff. Is that something you want to try on channel?
Green.
He's offering up an idea for the show.
Using green stuff to make the U-boat do U-boat stuff.
What is green stuff?
Actually, you know what?
It's like an epoxy.
Never minding the green stuff. Nick did keep, and I don't even know if he said that he held back. I taught him how to do weathering on a U-wing, one of the U-wing toys, to kind of spruce it up and weather it and do all kinds of stuff like that. He had another one, and he said, "I'll hold this back if you want to, do weathering, like weathering toys on the show," which is not a bad idea. That's something else we could do, is a weathering, not just weathering toys, but you know what? I'm going to put it on there. Weathering paint jobs. I'll put that on 5.
I got one for you. As long as the house doesn't explode tonight while it's under testing.
Yeah.
DIY pressure pot.
Okay, we can do that. Maybe. That'll only take a night, though. That's easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Anyway, so we want to do it for 2 weeks. I have 2 more unweathered. Okay. So we have Nick. That's a good idea, Nick. We'll do weathered paint jobs. So we got 3D print, start to finish, all the way to mold process. We got the Wrecker project coming back. It's a 3D printed project where we 3D print and fit the armor to Matt. MG15 project, which is this one right here. The next one is from Sterling SMG all the way to E11. I have to make a few new molds for that, so I figured we would go over the process of taking a real submachine gun and casting the parts to make the prop E11 blaster. Hernan!
Hey, Hernan!
Hernan, just like everyone else, you just missed Matt.
I wouldn't say miss.
30 minutes.
Yeah, by 30 minutes. But
You miss Matt.
Hernan, I knew you were coming tonight, so I wore this. Last week I wasn't wearing it. And then number 5 is weathering, paint job paint job or paint weathering or paint jobs weathering or weathering up your props. How's that? Weathering props. That's what it is.
Next week.
It'll be we'll break it into 2 months so I can go, or 2 weeks so I can break it down into more of a
Manageable bites.
more manageable bites. Not manageable bites. The smaller you break it down, the more detail in your description you can go.
Now we're gonna do this like they do on the cooking shows.
We could,
And I put it in the oven. Look, it's completely done.
and we actually have in the past done that. Had the paints all lined up. You remember a lot of the stuff that we did early on that was on Facebook. Grab that one up there, Hayden.
Grab what? Where am I
Do the lead pipe.
the
Oh God, you're gonna hit me with the lead pipe?
I'm gonna hit you with a
Again?
lead pipe. Actually, before you hand it to me, show it close up to the camera.
Which one is
If you go right over, look
The one made
directly
of
above
lead.
your head. It's all scratched up and it's old, but find one of the best areas and then show it off. That end in your hand is the best end. Yeah, there you go. Pull it out a little bit. There you go. See how it's all scratched up, but you see how we weathered a piece of PVC pipe to look like, actually, that end that you had there was the first, that's the better end. To look like an old piece of steel pipe.
That's a you job. Mine always just looks dirty.
Now, I had a dedicated winding piece of PVC pipe, and I have no idea what happened to it. So this is the same diameter, 3/4 inch PVC. So I ended up using this as it's to create the springs for E11s. So the reason why this has got like hash mark scratches on it is because I'm winding wire to create a fake spring for E11s, and that's what this is being used for now. But look at that end right there. Ronnie, look at that. Doesn't that look good?
It does.
Doesn't that look like a piece of old pipe?
Yeah.
Corroded,
It's got the oxidization. And
corroded
it's got it in
and
the
everything.
lines.
We did the paint job on this pipe when we were on Facebook. So we can redo a similar episode of, like
I don't know. Larry yells at me for leaving patterns.
Actually, maybe it's following patterns. Like we know when you're going to be at this point. That's where you're most susceptible, when people can figure out your patterns.
What, of the paint job?
Where you're going to be, how you're going to be, when you leave this place to go to this place.
Well, Nick takes care of that with me because he's stalking me all the time.
So anyway, so we'll do a vote. We got enough people on here to do a vote.
Are we doing a vote?
We can do a vote on what the subject for next week. Now, if we pick the wrecker, which I'm really not, the wrecker kind of needs a longer span, so the wrecker might turn into a bit. I'm going to remove wrecker because wrecker falls into a weird category. Because if we started doing wrecker only, we're going to end up doing wrecker until like May or even longer.
We got one for weathering.
Yeah. Okay. So we got one. So we're gonna take wrecker off the table, unless. Nah, I'm not even gonna do that.
Everybody's gonna vote for a different thing.
It's gonna be an even tie. Is what it's
I'm gonna
be.
let Matt be. Let Hayden be the.
The tiebreaker.
Yeah. See, Jeff, why would you bring it up? Because that's gonna be a future project that we're just gonna force on everybody. But everybody's going to enjoy it anyway. So, you know what I mean?
Isn't that what the summer's for? Is forced projects?
As a matter of fact, that's even on. That's like on the back burner, but it's on the stove, which is important. You got to think, a stove normally has 4 burners. So that's 4 places, and it's on one of the back ones. And I can tell you right now, because Hayden can turn right around.
I'm not going to.
No, grab it and give it to me.
What is it?
Turn right around, right next to the coffee, the Maxwell coffee.
I gotta take my headphones off and everything.
I know. But anyway, it is okay. So we got what do we have? We got one for weathering, and when we 3D print the 3D process, Hojo for the process.
Oh my
No,
God,
not that.
God.
You like that? Here, give that to me.
It's actually burning.
Hand me the control panel. It's right behind. There you go. See, Han is always with us. He's always in our thoughts.
No, he's not. He was hidden.
There you go.
He was hidden.
There
This
we
is a
go.
thermoplastic, and you had it right by the heater.
Yeah. There we go. Look at that, Jeff. We've already done some sizing and working comparison because Jeff has some ultra accurate pieces. And we did 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 scaling prints to get this guy right dialed in as close as we could. And it's dialed in really close. So, yeah. And it looks great. And it's already had one heavy prime. So it's going to need a little bit of sanding, a lot of sanding, and then probably 1 or 2 more primes to get it exactly to my standards. And then there's going to be a lovely mold made of this guy. And yeah. And this might be the beginning of a full Blaster Pro Han and Carbonite Greebly set. Possibly.
Nick wants us to know that he has one open, one unopened.
I saw that. He said, yeah.
Are those
Thank you,
model
Nick.
kits?
So there you go. Oh, well, I'll just put that right there. We just got a mess of stuff on the table tonight.
He's got.
All right, so we got 1 vote for weathering job. We have 1 vote for 3D print. 3D print from raw print all the way to cast. And I will tell you guys right now what the 3D print that we're going to do on the show will be. It's going to be a set of gauntlets or bracers for the Mandalorian. I am actually working on right now a full set of Mandalorian army. Actually, my prototype set of Mandalorian armor went up in smoke. If anybody knows,
Oh, yeah.
or remembers, we had a Burning Mando party in the fall to celebrate and make amends and goodbye to a horrible con season for us. So the Mandalorian armor that I had as my prototype was on that mannequin at the Burning Mando celebration, which was a good time. It was a great party. I think everybody had a great time. Hayden was he loved it. You loved it, didn't you, sir?
I was behind the camera.
He was behind the camera burning up. He's like, I gotta move.
Day
If you
3
watch
or
the
4.
unedited, he's like,
It was like day 3 or 4 of my daughter not taking off her armor.
yes. It was starting to get a little stinky. But anyway, so go ahead tonight. He's going to keep an eye out for votes. So go ahead whenever you're ready, whatever you want to do. Vote for 3D print start to finish, casting, MG15, Sterling molds, basically submachine gun all the way to E11 prop blaster, and weathering, paint weathering, or weathering your props, prop weathering. I'm going to be working on that DL44 from this. Straka, the only thing that survived from the Burning Mando, actually there were several things. We have a small air compressor, an air tank, and a defective brain that was saved.
It's good for parts.
And the actual sidearm that you drew to shoot at the Mandalorian, which was just a blank, a DL44 blank, or a Mauser, basically, is all it was. But it was hollowed out. It had a trigger and a trigger assembly added to it, so it could send the I just shot you electronic pulse.
I'm actually kind of torn between the new brain and the new idea for the brain, because I can do it way better.
Well, that brain over there is 100 times better than the old brain.
Yeah, and I've got an idea for one that's 100 times better than that, even smaller, and can do 2 different types of music at the same time.
Are we going to be like SpaceX where that's good, son. Are we going to be like SpaceX where we put it on the launch pad, fuel it up a couple times, and then we never launch it? Put the next version up.
It could be. I mean, I got to do programming for the next batch.
All right. So this is a project here, the one that I'm most excited about. I am excited about the Mandalorian armor, and the Mandalorian armor project was supposed to be done and already in production and available for this season. I wanted to beat the season, and
okay, so at this point, here's the deal.
yeah,
You have to beat me on getting your armor done before I get my proton pack done.
that's not fair.
That's
That is
pretty
not-
easy.
Is it because I easier for him or me? Yeah, I think because my armor
I'll let
project.
the audience decide.
Huh? You let
I'll
the
let-
audience decide. So, because my armor project includes, are you ready for this? Left and right shoulder bells. Shoulder bell with the clan markings, the clan marking, the mudhorn on it. Chest, ab, hips, butt, back plate, jetpack. The helmet's already done. We just need a new mold for the helmet. So a complete set, and my set also will include blaster. I need to remove that goal. Well, you know what? All you gotta do is just unscrew it.
Grind it.
That's a piece of history.
It is a piece of it's archaeological history.
It's
Grind it.
history.
Grind it.
Anyway, yeah, I wanted to put together. This would be the first time I've done it, and I've had this idea and wanted to do this idea for so long. But anyway, for the Mandalorian, I will have his bracers, his knee armor, leg armor, chest, ab, back plate, jetpack,
Wrists.
hands, hips, butt. Basically, in the end, I'm shooting for all the hard parts for the costume. The soft parts I'm not going to do. The original plan to do was all the hard parts for an X-Wing pilot. That was my full original kit. It was going to be helmet, chest box, leg flares, and a few other small pieces. The coat cylinders for the arms, that stuff. Then the next one I was going to do after that, and all these are all they're very old projects that are still could be finished. Really, I mean, all the pieces are
Like
there.
I said, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff to do on the proton pack. I got to finish the back. I've got to
Shiny
finish the
set,
wand.
Straka. Shiny, shiny, shiny.
You did a lot to make
I've got to do the
vehicle
lights,
look shiny.
sound,
All the.
smoke effects. I think we're about even.
Do you remember when? Do you remember Straka seeing the Burning Mando video? Can you find that and put a link on?
I mean, I think I seen it.
I know, but throw it up. Throw the link for anybody that hasn't seen it or watches this
Pull their
later.
attention away from the stream.
No, it's not pulling attention away from stream. We can keep talking to the upper camera. You can go find the link and drop it in.
Drop it in.
Drop it in, yes, sir.
Drop it in the chat.
Drop it in the chat.
Okay.
So anyway, you're afraid everybody. They're not going to jump away from us.
Yes, they will.
They're going to open another window and drop the link in there and then go watch it after us.
Can we watch Truckers in Space?
Yeah, we can.
Dude, Truckers in Space is fun.
Okay, where's the channel?
There's the channel. There he is right there. How many hits is it? Only 84 people have watched that. I thought we would have had more people watching it.
It wasn't very widely broadcasted.
Okay. So,
Yub nub.
oh, Hayden,
What?
go to, I'm sorry, he hates this, but our director, go to, can you pull up YouTube on camera 4?
Oh, Jesus.
And play him in the corner, and then Straka can see exactly what I'll be making.
No.
Why not? You gotta stretch it out a little bit. Anyway. All right, so let's get some votes in.
What are we voting
I watched it
for?
live from the hotel.
Well, Dan voted for Weathering and Sterling submachine gun.
Sterling.
Ooh. Okay. So, number 1, 3D print start to finish from raw print to cast part. Number 2, MG15, this bad boy right here. Sterling submachine gun. It's a mold making video or mold making process. It'll be mold making. It'll be taking parts of the original and making molds of it. So Sterling submachine gun to E11 prop or weathering paint jobs.
There's a lot to choose from.
So I think with weathering, I don't know, since it seems to be the winning one, what's making you laugh so much?
Just thinking about stuff. Don't worry about it.
This never ends well.
I'm getting worried. We only got 3 votes, so throw out your comments, votes, ideas, ask about what each one might be, because we're trying to figure out what the rest of this month. This is what we were going to do at the end of. I also pick weathering.
We already saw that.
Yeah, we got it.
We understand.
I think weathering.
He picks weathering. I don't think you get a vote. You're a co-host.
I didn't say I picked weathering. I said I
Dude,
think
look
it's
at that.
weathering.
Nick is having a conversation with himself.
You're not allowed.
This surprises you how?
It does not surprise me at all. So, to do the weathering, I think we'll break it up into 2 weeks. Whatever we do, we're going to break into 2 weeks. So a couple of these are actually going to be a stretch, like the 3D prints. That's going to be a stretch, but it's still doable. The MG15, it's a month-long project, if not a little bit longer.
Your
But
monitor's Rodney? Somebody's
Is he
monitor.
talking to himself?
I'm Carl.
Who's Carl?
Another glowy.
Nice, Greg. Anyway.
Another glowy.
The Sterling molds is fun because the parts of the Sterling I actually do need are still attached to the original gun parts. Weathering paint job. Weathering is actually kind of a fun gig. We can do some model style weathering. We can do a couple different types. Oh, you know what? I might break it up into 2 categories. Category 1 is blaster weathering, and category 2 is armor weathering. I think that might be a fun way to go. But it wouldn't include stuff like chip paint jobs and all that stuff. I think it should just be clean item, make it dirty, make it weathered.
Can you do this live?
Huh?
Can you do that live?
Yeah, with proper prepping, I could do it live.
Also notice that we all have different ways of doing paint jobs.
I think it would work better.
And they're all the wrong way if they're not my way.
I noticed. Yeah. I mean, mine works great. but
How many
apparently-
times, Rodney, have you confided in me or asked me about how to do something, and then you're like, actually, his way seems a little too much, and you go about it thinking you have a better way, and then you come back and say, yeah, that didn't work so well.
You're only bringing that up because of past projects. All of them.
Which is what we're talking about. This is a project-based live stream. This is what we talk about, projects.
Well, how these turn out?
Costuming,
How these turn out?
making stuff that doesn't exist.
Were those
like-
resin?
Combine topics and start with 3D print, weathering, 3D print and weather it. Okay, here's the thing.
Okay, I'll do the 3D print. You do the weathering. Same time.
Here's the
Perfect.
Hojo wants 3D print.
Yeah, I know. Hojo, I got him down for 3D print. With 3D prints, the thing about 3D prints is if I'm using 3D print, it's only a prototype or it's going to be a master. Like for this guy right here, this is a 3D printed helmet. This guy here has probably, what do you say, about 20 hours worth of primer and sanding and fiddling and fitting. So when it's done, none of my 3D prints ever look like a 3D print. And it's a lot of labor to get it there. And that is one thing that there's no quick fix for 3D prints. I'm sorry, everyone out there that has spent money on
I hate that stuff.
the brush on smoothing compounds and all this and that and all this. All those things do is dull your detail And some of them will even make a bigger mess that you will have to sand and fix. To be honest, the best way to do it is 3D bond everything. We like to use a 3D print pen to weld all of our seams. And we do a, like, if you can see, there you go. You can see these two pieces are separate. Like the bottom is in 4 pieces, the top's in 4 pieces, but you will never tell.
I actually started using a 3D resin.
I'm trying to see because there's a great stitch. You can see a good stitch line. You can kind of see it. It's right there, right along here. And that's a 3D pen stitch line, or almost a plastic welded line.
Will that fit Matt's head?
It will fit Matt's head. We've actually had Matt with the upper armor on that comes up around the neck and everything, and you sit the helmet down in there. It looked really good. And
Does he look like Mr. Krabs?
The problem with Matt was when we were really working on this is when he was always out of town.
That's not the only
And that
problem
kind
with
of what that kind of killed
the momentum.
It hurt the momentum. Yes, it did. It did a lot, and it made it difficult to keep the flow going. And then on top of that, I have to work on all these projects through the week to get them ready for something new on Tuesday, which was an issue on a couple other projects that have gone by the wayside, but they're not dead. Remember, when it gets on the oven or it gets on the stovetop, that's important because there's only 4 places up there. So if it's on a back burner, that is like that is really good. If it's on a burner, it's really good for me because I've got boxes and shelves full of projects.
Oh God, I got to build a bunch of freaking helmet lights.
See? You've already built a bunch of helmet lights.
I have to build more helmet lights.
Why?
Because it's a never-ending process of building helmet lights.
You're talking into the mic. You're blasting it.
So, right now, unless it changes, out in the lead is weathering. Weathering is at the top, and I'll break it into 2 categories. I'll break it into blaster, weathering. Maybe I'll throw in some chipped paint weathering also.
Weathering's easy, though. You just paint it and then you drop it up against the concrete.
No, because there are multiple ways of weathering. That is what a lot of people don't really realize. For example, the proper way to do a sand trooper weather is, I believe...
Which one of us are you talking to, Nick? Do you want to build helmet lights?
They'll fight over you.
Who, me?
No, him.
Fight over Nick?
Fight over the help.
Fight over the help. Well, you know what? Maybe
Both. All right.
Maybe you do need
Welcome aboard.
I need an apprentice.
an apprentice. I've apprenticed so much that maybe some of my apprentices need apprentices.
That's what's happened, yes.
Which is weird because
I'm like helping Larry too, and
you're
Larry's one of
kinda-
your apprentices.
you're kind of Larry's apprentice.
I am the shop whore. I travel
I
from
guess that's
shop
right,
to
yeah.
shop helping.
Yeah. North and south of the border, whore.
Wow.
And I offered to stop over and help Daryl with his stuff too. So
I don't even know. I have nothing for that. But anyway, so next week, unless we come up with any more people saying, hey, you know, I'd really like to see 3D prints, or I'd really like to see MG15. Apparently nobody wants to see MG15.
Yeah, no one talked about that.
You were smart. Hayden nailed that one on the butt. He's like, you really want to do MG15? And he's like, nobody else will care.
you've been working on this for like
It wasn't that hard.
how many years? Because
He
I
wasn't-
remember when you printed this.
Okay, you want to know the history of these prints? I have 4 of these complete kits ready to go. And you don't even have the closeout?
My apologies.
That's a lot of lines.
Okay. None of you guys can see this, but our screen right now, I can see everything he does on the main computer. And what's going on is did not do any of the show media. And I actually did ask him to grab some media to throw in.
Are you going to replace these with real screws?
Nick, you can't say yes to everything. That's
You only get one vote.
you only get one vote. Eventually, too.
But if you really want, I'll teach them how to do freaking LED strips because that's easy.
Don't help. You
Nick?
only make it worse.
Any of them.
Okay.
And then you can add those to whatever the hell you're trying to make.
You know what?
glow.
I like weathering. I think we're just going to stick with weathering.
Let me not light the wrong side.
Unless anybody objects and would like to have a different topic, and I will give you the topics that we will cover for the next 2 weeks. 3D printed armor, start to finish. And that's cleaning, smoothing, and of course paint or casting. Sometimes I will actually paint an item depending on what type of finish I want on it, because the painted finish will translate into the molded. All right, what's Jeff saying?
He said, wait, I have it. Go with the MG since it's a 3D print, clean it up, do the molding, and then make the
Jeff,
one and do weathering, boom, it's all done.
the problem is I'm only using this 3D print as an in-hand reference.
That
piece.
means ADHD here is pretty high.
The gun actually isn't going to be 3D printed. It's going to be a PVC pipe build. So all of this area here you see is 3D printed will be PVC pipe. There will be a transition that's not really shown here, but this will go into another piece of PVC pipe. There's actually right around here on this gun is a safety switch, which is the most weird and messed up safety I've ever seen on a gun, but it is on this gun. The butt plate is going to be a machined piece. This right here is probably going to be, this is the only valid piece that I will probably keep and heavily modify.
Now, is this still going to waggle like Chota Boy's?
No, it's not going to waggle like Chota Boy. So this is actually not a 3D print from 3D print to clean part. This is actually 3D print for scaling and reference as I develop all the proper pieces using, surprisingly enough, the Smithsonian has got great photos of this gun.
Wait, what is shop rule number 4? Nothing we do here is to scale.
Yes, and scaling on that's going to need to be modified, and scaling on, So here's the thing I've noticed on 3D prints.
Do we need to have a moving trigger on that so I can put phaser noises?
It's not going to have a moving trigger.
Phaser noises.
All right. I make props. I don't make toys. I have actually, apparently, I snapped at someone one night on the show.
Showed him.
Because he was very enthusiastic and he loved coming around. And these are things I don't do. I don't add lights. I don't add pew pew sounds. Rodney.
What?
Rodney has got an E11 out in the workshop, out in the dirt room.
Incorrect. We needed an E11 for my daughter's costume, so I had to have her build it real quick.
It had already been out there for 2
I had never finished it.
years, and he was making pew pew and lighty up sounds. I have no issue with people doing that with their blasters or their props. I have no issue with that at all. I don't. If you do it, that's great, but that's not where I am. I am more in the accuracy of the presentation. I am into the history of all the pieces. I am into the original prop. Now, if I wanted this DL44 to do some of the great things that other people want their DL44s or their E11s to do, A, this needs to be a real Mauser. B, I'm going to load blanks in it, and then when I pull the trigger, it goes bang. And then in post-production, they add the blast sound and the bolt coming out. But I would have my gun make the smoke and the fire. I can't do that. So what I'm going to do for $120, I can't do that. For $1,000, for 2,000, for about 2,500
you
bucks.
Can't do that for $1,000.
For about 2,500 bucks to $3,000, I'll do that for you. But here's the funny thing: the profit margin is still the same as what it is on this. So why don't I just do this? So I don't have anything against people that make metal replicas. I love metal replicas. I think they're great, especially when you can slide the bolt, pull the hammer back, pull the trigger, make the hammer fall. That is all great. You can't take it to a con. You can take this to a con. You can run a wand all over it, and it's not going to go beep. You can put it in your holster, and your holster's not around your ankles. This thing weighs 1.5 pounds. Everybody says, "Oh, it's so heavy." It's so heavy because everybody's used to handling 3D prints.
It weighs at least 3 pounds.
It's about 2 pounds maybe. But anyway,
The mock-up of my proton pack, the giant proton pack, weighs 5 pounds.
so when people come to me and say, "Can I add electronics to it?" I said, "It was never built for electronics. Can you put a chrome bolt in it?" I was like, "Yes." Would you also like me to send? I do lose my temper sometimes. I had a gentleman who bought a Sterling built, real Sterling, click, click, bang, bang, Sterling, built E11. This was about 10 years ago. It was a beautiful Sterling. And it was a beautiful build. Everything worked out great. And he bought it, and he said, "Could you put a chrome bolt in it?" What? He wanted a chrome bolt. I said, "No, I'm not going to put a chrome bolt in it because this is a Hero. Only the chrome bolt ones were actually dowel rods with aluminum tape to represent the bolts and all the others. It wasn't even a cutout. It was just a piece of aluminum tape in the shape of the hole of the ejector port with a piece of aluminum tape on it. That's all they were. They were pieces of wood with aluminum tape on it." And I said, "No." And I said, "This is a Hero blaster." Means in Star Wars, the Hero E11s were click, bang, bang, 10-shot blank firing submachine guns. That's what they used in the cell bay. That's what they used when Han chased them down the corridor. That's what Luke and Leia used when they were trapped on the platform. If you look real close and you pause the film, you will also see shell casings shooting off to the side. So yeah, I do Heroes. And the Heroes are based on the original pieces. So, granted, I do the Stunt ESB, but the Stunt ESB had great detail and was a beautiful blaster in its own right.
So you're like the Bonnie Tyler of blasters?
No, I think
You need a hero?
I think
Oh,
the
no,
way
you're holding out for a hero.
It's bad. Bullying laws.
No, the bullying laws were all in effect. It wasn't. It's less than 6 months ago.
You said 10 years ago.
It continues.
No, I'm talking about the kid that wanted me to take.
The day where I kept my mouth shut because it was
Okay, I'm
going, "Can
talking
you do
about
this?"
someone who bought a top of the line. You remember the one that Johnny ended up with, the last Sterling E11 we had in the shop?
Maybe.
The one you could click and pull the trigger and pling and all that fun stuff?
Yeah.
It was as nice as that one, if not nicer. Matter of fact, it was an earlier Sterling D-mill kit. So I think that kit was nicer, much nicer than the one that I got, that I built. The one that I mean, how long that one? That kit laid around here for years before. Not the kit, those finished blaster.
Yeah, it sat here forever.
And everybody loved it. They loved it. It's like, oh, give it to me. It's like click, click. You know, they fold out the stock and have fun with it, which is great.
Draka thinks I'm funny.
Well, at least somebody does. No, I don't want to get. I'm not. I guess that has turned into a pet peeve. Can you make it buzz? Can you put lights on it? Can you put electronics? Is it built for electronics? No.
Do you think I should put lights in this?
It's not built for electronics. You know why they're not built for electronics? Because I'm reproducing the props. The props themselves weren't built for electronics. Like I said, the high end of what I might do would be yeah, exactly, Nick. What I'm I even stopped doing the charging, the E11 kits that used to be able to charge the. I used to put real springs in them so you could pull the bolt back and then charge around. And I stopped doing that. I'll glue the bolt in and put a spring behind it, and it's not even a real spring.
When I first met you 10 billion years ago,
Yeah.
you were talking about doing that with a resin kit.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. If you want a metal copy or a metal replica, so on the average end of DL44s, it's going to be $600 to $700. E11s, 14, 15s, maybe even as high as $2,000 for a metal E11. The thing is, it's going to sit on the shelf, and it's not going to look any better than this. And the beauty of this is you can put this in a holster and take it to a con. The metal ones, you cannot do that with. So it all depends on what you want. If you just want to spend a lot of money for something that looks cool, that's great. And go ahead and do that and enjoy it. Yeah, okay, it has a few more features. You can move things, you can take magazines out, you can do all that kind of stuff. That's great. That's awesome. Did they do that in Star Wars? Have you ever seen a stormtrooper pop and throw a mag and pop another mag in? No, you haven't. You ever seen a stormtrooper unfold the buttstock? No, you haven't. And someone said to me, are you going to start making E11s with folded out stocks? Because we saw them in Andor. Actually, no, we didn't. We saw E11s, or maybe E10s. They may have been E10s in Andor, but they had an added butt stock to it. The original folding stock was still in place because in Star Wars lore, that's gas storage. That's where the gas is at. The magazine is the battery where the power is at. So
this Chuck tirade brought to you by me.
Yes, sorry, not to ramble, but we haven't had any more, so we are going to be doing weathering for the rest of the month.
Are we closing out?
Unless you have anything to add. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I was wondering if we could paint somebody again.
What do we got here?
Bigfoots aren't real.
What did Nick say?
Yada, yada.
Dan,
got a couple of World War II guns in Vegas. Because, you know,
yeah, they got
the machine gun show was too good for him.
Anyway, Dan, it was, and, you know, to be honest, I do miss having that E11 in the shop, and I am thinking about buying some more Sterling kits and building a few more metal.
Can you even find those anymore?
I have one source. That still has semi-complete kits available. The price hasn't changed, but the quality and the quantity of the parts you get in return has gone down. Like the price for a kit has always stayed around between $250 and $275. Originally, the $250, between $250 and $260, got you everything, including the barrel, magazine, everything. Now it's probably $275, and you don't have. Oh, and it was all of the belt, the receiver assembly. Now you have it where here's the grip, and they chop like this and chop like that, and you have even less of. So you're missing wedge pie pieces of the full length of the SMG. And those kits, I know I have one source, and I haven't actually talked to them in about a year, but they still had the original guideline, cut here, cut here, cut here. Everything is still intact kits. And that's what those are the only ones you can really do anything with. But anyway,
It's because the dog shooters keep changing the rules.
it's not that they get more afraid. It's like a genre that runs under the radar that no one's messed with. You know what I'm saying? And you know why I think that's so? Someone who rebuilds a Sten gun legally, and that's the only way to rebuild a Sten gun is legally. They're not going out and doing stupid stuff. They're going out and appreciating the horribleness of the British Sten gun and the historical history, but how horrible this gun is. He's like, I can't believe anybody went into combat with this, you know? So, yeah. And the Sterling people are the same way. Although the Sterling people are also Star Wars people, and we're also hated equally by the gun community as much as the government hates guns in general.
I don't hate you.
I know. And you're a gun person too. You should hate me because I have ended the life. I have already killed guns. All right.
Are we done?
Maybe.
Yes, it was reliable. The Sten was reliable, but the only problem about the Sten was the magazine was not reliable. It was a single stack magazine. Where reliability came in, as far as submachine guns go, the most reliable magazine is the double feed or the double stack double feed Sterling 34 round mag. That is the pinnacle of submachine technology.
Well, that's the
Submachine guns are dumb and stupid. You don't have a trigger. You can take the trigger assembly out. You can take everything off the gun, just a spring, the bolt, the tube, and a magazine. And charge it and let it rip, and it'll rip right through that whole magazine. Sterling submachine gun is the gun that will be the most reliable without any other things involved, just ripping off bullets. That's the one that's going to work the best for you, and it's because of, amazing enough, there's like dummy roller rounds on a double stack inside that mag.
Just so you know, the magazine is the linchpin for any firearm.
But
if you have a crappy one, you're not
Yeah.
going to get feed.
Everybody knows if you're doing a semi-automatic pistol or anything like that, the magazine is the thing. You buy an off-brand for your whatever, and it's like, you know what? But in all honesty, and when people talk about the Sterling, the real jewel to the Sterling was the magazine that it was developed for it. Now, the Sterlings, no, the Sten, we were talking about the Sten. I just moved Sten into Sterling. But the Sterling was also designed to accept Sten mags, and that was how it was tested in the field, was with Sten mags during World War II. On that note, do you have anything to add?
No. Me or him?
You. He has
I
stuff.
can keep talking for days.
I know, he's mic'd. So, stepmom.
Oh boy.
I think we need
This
to contact
is gonna be
stepmom and tell her that you can cast her feet.
Cast her feet.
Cast their feet.
Who thinks that we should contact stepmom?
Do you actually have a
Does
contact?
she live local? Because all her gigs seem local.
Yeah. I don't know how local. It's Ohio.
Tell her that big feet don't exist.
Oh, and by the way, I am putting out there right now, I'm putting out a 5-year goal for myself to complete the Great Loop. And if you don't know, look it up.
If I get my CNR license again, can we get a Coast Guard 20 millimeter mounted on it?
Yes.
Shut up.
We're gonna get.
Shut up, Rodney. Oh, by the way, I never got to the reason why I have so many of those kits laying around. I made a deal years and years ago with I can't even think of who it was.
That was loud.
Yeah.
That guy? You made a deal with that guy?
Yeah. Anyway, I made a deal for some MG15s. These guys actually do World War II stuff, and they really liked the first one I gave them. And they like, oh, we want like 3 or 4 more, and we worked into a trade negotiation. And I made them, and then
Kind of limp at the end.
our event
it's
of the year
definitely
that we
curved.
would always meet at, they had not and still have not been back. But yeah. Anyway, join us next week when we start our discussion on weathering.
Join us next week when you hear Hayden say,
What?
Next week we'll start discussing weathering. We will start this month and go this. This should have been the first night of a discussion, but we did not do a topic. D-Day, Ohio. You know how that's up north. That's they stormed the beaches of Lake Erie.
well, they used to do a pirate thing up there too.
It's like right next, it's all the way north, right next to
Yeah, it was Paintown. Pirates of Paintown. And I remember Casey drug us up there, and I had to dress up as a freaking grenadier.
Are you outside now, Nick?
Oh, Jesus.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody. Bye.